Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to continue our scholarly examination of Howard Chaykin's American Flagg. Today we're going to be looking at number 5 through number 8, which encompass the story arc Red Highlights and Permanent Waves. That's the name. And in this one, Rueben Flagg goes to Russia, and we get to see all the craziness that goes on in Plex, Russia, because Russia is part of the Plex. Same team that drew the first 4 and wrote the first 4 and colored it, and of course lettered it, because Ken Brzezinek's a very important part of the equation. And Howard Chaykin is just kind of like the coach. I don't know how much he contributes, but it does have a Howard Chaykin feel, so I don't know if they had to run by everything by him. But man, these are fun. I was going to get rid of these, and then I read them again, and I was like, these are just as fun as any other, some of the classic Howard Chaykin solo American Flags. The art's not as good, but it's pretty good. For example, this cover, Mike Vosburgh and Howard Chaykin inking. I mean, this, you'd never know this wasn't Howard Chaykin. Around this time, Mike Vosburgh just became a total Howard Chaykin clone. He was really good at it. And Red Square. So now, I don't know if you remember last episode, but Rueben Flagg is no longer a Plexus Ranger. He was freed from a Spandau prison from the Pan-African League by Rocky, whose alter ego is Bess Abundanza. She's like an Italian freedom fighter type. So as Rocky, she rescues people from Pan-African Europe, the kind of racist, fascist government there. But in her alter ego, she's a lawyer, but she does, high level lawyer. So Rueben gets a job as her messenger, and that's where we start off. Doesn't seem like a fun job. He's trying to crawl through this mass of people, and everyone's giving him shit. This baby pukes on his shoes, and he gets so angry that he kicks over the baby cart, and this person here says, "Didn't we see flying baby cart in movie? Was great revolutionary masterpiece, The Don't Touchables." So that's a reference to Battleship Potemkin with the famous baby cart going down the stairs scene, which, of course, The Untouchables did an homage to. So it's almost like a double tribute to those two films. That's what I want to say is, so in this issue, John Francis Moore, who started out as the colorist of this series, is now the main writer. And man, he's good. He packs so many clever jokes, clever, chicken fat in the background, the movie marquees, the ads, just lots of fun stuff. All the names are kind of clever, kind of great puns and stuff. Just, he does a great job of capturing that mix of, satire and political commentary that Howard Chaykin did. And also, pop culture all stewed in. I like the Walkmans in Russia are these giant speakers on either side of their head, resting on their shoulders. So Ruben is not happy, obviously misses being a ranger. But what can you do? We see Mother Russia here. She's everyone knows Mother Russia in Russia. She's kind of the head honcho of the Plexus Rangers in Russia. And she's just this great public servant. I mean, she's incorruptible. She's done so many heroic things. She's just a hard-nosed old lady, tough old lady. But she gets results, so people leave her alone. But she's a pretty kick-ass. We also see Eurydice Khan, the daughter of the media mogul Rupert Khan, who's like the richest man in Russia. She's in a rock band. Here's her two, the guys in her band who are not just in her band, they're also kind of like her bodyguards. They're always with her. Anyone tries to fuck with Eurydice, they beat the shit out of them. Then we see these criminals. I love this guy. His name's Sergei Hergé. A little tribute to the creator of Tintin. This is just a great rhyme. Sergei Hergé. And his colleague Petrov. And they're just in a car arguing about heavy metal music and various things. Sergei's old enough that he remembers pre-domino Russia, back when it was communist. Because in Howard Chaykin was very good at predicting trends in the future, but he didn't predict that Russia would fall in 89. So he didn't think Russia would go capitalist. In this comic, though, he does. He just gets it a few years late. After the year of the domino, the Plex took over. And so it's a weird hybrid of capitalism and communism in Russia. Obviously very capitalist, but they still have all this like Soviet iconography. So here we see Bess Abundanza. Apparently she does all these favors for people. The doorman's like, oh, thanks for taking care of that thing for me. Just a really kind woman. And she comes into her office, and the secretary is getting down with Rueben, or about to. And she's just like, oh, God, you guys get the hell out of here. And Ruben's all like, oh, sorry. So now we see Sergei and Petrov with their two cohorts. And one of the cohorts is Ruben Flagg's father, Axel. He's been forging communist documents, selling them to the Pan-African League, because, they're commies. So they love any kind of, rare documents from the early days of communism. But they've got a bigger scam, a bigger score to deal with. They're planning on stealing Lenin's corpse from Lenin's tomb, and they're gonna sell it to I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, but he's a bigwig in the Pan-African League, Mathulu, something like that, and he's gonna buy it from them, and this will definitely make him a bigger wig in the Pan-African League, and these guys will get lots of gold Krugerians, enough to retire. We see Eurydice on TV. She's her rock band. Apparently they're terrible. Most people don't like them, but her father's so rich that she becomes a huge rock star because he just promotes her with his money. So they're performing on the Him and It show, which is the talk show that Jules and Raul have. And Raul just tells it like it is. Raul's, when they're done playing, he's just like, oh, God, you guys are terrible. And she's just such a spoiled brat. She's just like, how dare you talk to me like that? And Raul is just unfazed, just keeps insulting her. So she pulls a gun on him. All the crew pull a gun on Eurydice, so the band pull guns on them, so it's this total showdown. Apparently Eurydice does this all the time. She's such a spoiled brat. Her father's so wealthy that she has run-ins with the law all the time. And then the father, bails her out. But, it's, what can you do? That's, money talks, bullshit walks. So everyone knows she's a pain in the ass, but. So just by coincidence, Ruben happens to be delivering a message to K-Marks TV, where the show is filming. And he walks in the door, and Eurydice grabs him as a hostage. And right then, Mother Russia comes in with her robot deputy, Yakov Glasnost. So Mother Russia's like, come on, Eurydice. Come on. Again. Like, she's just so tired of this shit. So we cut back to our four criminals. And they go into Lenin's tomb. Lenin's tomb at this point is almost like a Disneyland type tourist attraction. There's animatronic Lenins and Abe Lincolns welcoming visitors, and it's very cheesy. But they succeed. They put the sex doll in its place. They get the corpse of Lenin and put the sex doll in. Meanwhile, back at the TV station, the showdown continues. But Eurydice gets distracted for a second, and Rueben takes advantage of that and conks her on the head and knocks her out. Her band are just like, oh my God, he struck the daughter of the Khan. And so he grabs her like a body shield, a human shield. So it's this total showdown. And then Bess Abundanza comes in. And she says, drop her, Flagg. I'll be filing charges against you. She's my client. And he's like, she was trying to kill me. What are you talking about? But you know how lawyers are. So everything calms down. Mother Russia takes the band into custody, knowing that they'll be out of the clink in like an hour. The father will, exert his influence. And Mother Russia calls over Rueben. And she says, hey, we're short on manpower. You want to be a ranger again? And Rueben is so thrilled. Takes off his clothes immediately and throws on his ranger outfit. And look at him. He's just beaming. He's just like, I've been waiting for this. And that's it for this issue. Well, Mother Russia confronts him with the fact that Rueben informs her that, the guy probably doing all this forgery, it's my dad, Axel. I like this like they did in earlier issues. They have these dossier pages of all the newer characters they've introduced. So here's Celia Prospektova, which is Mother Russia. She's pretty kick-ass. I love this character. Eurydice Khan and Bessamea Abundanza, otherwise known as Rocky. And here's the flying squirrel, which is Rocky's mode of transport when she's doing missions. And here we have Ian Cambridge, the world's best surfer. And his parents were like spies in the Pacific Islands, which I guess are their own country now. The Pacific Island Union. And he became this great surfer. So there's that one. Another cover by Mike Vosberg and Chaykin. Once again, looks just like Howard Chaykin. From Russia with Love. And we see Cthulhu. I know that's so wrong. When I see his name, I'll try to figure it out better. And he's going to visit Lenin's tomb. And with Ian Cambridge. It's like a special command performance for celebrities to see Lenin's corpse. And they find the sex doll. And it blows around. And Cthulhu just laughs because he knows what's up. He knows that the guys were successful in stealing it, and it'll soon be in his possession. Machuli. Let's call him Machuli from now on. That looks closer. So apparently in the meantime, Eurydice is totally in love with Rueben Flagg now. I guess because he clocked her on the head and didn't take her bullshit, she's not used to that. So she's just, she has issues, obviously. And she's just totally gaga, like a schoolgirl over Rueben Flagg now. She even wants to continue pressing charges just so she can keep seeing him. Because Mother Russia's like, drop the charges. This is stupid. Meanwhile, Rueben and Yakov are casing this joint. There's a bunch of shady characters in this garage. They think they're the guys who stole Lenin's corpse. And so they bust in. We have this great action splash page. And it turns out they're just working for the master programmer the video bootlegger, the pirate video guy, and they just have like some bootleg porn tapes, I should mention, just to reiterate, because they rarely tell you who does what, even though obviously Ken Brzezinski does the lettering. But it's like John Moore is the writer, I know that. But Mike Vosberg, I'm pretty sure, is the penciler. Richard Ory, Tony Vanderhill, who I think is the colorist. So it's the same team, but I should reiterate every now and then who draws these things. So we see our 4 criminals negotiating with Mshtuli, and even though there's laws against miscegenation in the Pan-African League, I guess he's above that, and him and his white maid get down. We're back on the Him and It show, and Ian Cambridge is the guest. Jules really digs Ian. He's like, oh, this is one solid dude. Meanwhile, we're in Brazil. We see Desiree Deutschmarks. She's leaving for Russia. She's going to do some business. And she's kissing her husband, who we still don't know who it is, his identity. They keep hiding his face. And she bids him adieu and heads off to Russia. So Eurydice is basically like telling her rich dad, just like, he's the one, Dad. And her father is such, spoils her so much. He's like, I cannot deny my daughter anything. I'll do everything in my power to make this Rueben, be with my daughter. So now we see the 3 of the 4 criminals. And, they're planning how they're going to transfer the body. And Ruben's onto them. Ruben's looking in through the skylight. He found some clues leading him there. And someone comes up behind him with a gun, pointed right at his head. And when he turns around, they're both shocked. Because it's Ruben's dad. He says, Ruben? He's like, Dad? And then he's so shocked that he falls back into the skylight and crashes into this lair. They're about to blow his head off. But Axel yells down, touch a head on that boy's head and you're both dead meat. It's family business. Get out of here. So they all escape, and Axel joins them, and Ruben takes off on a motorcycle after him. And they're all like, can we just shoot him? And Axel's like, no, he's my kid. We just got to ditch him. And all of a sudden, this gunshot comes out of nowhere, hits his tire. Ruben goes crashing into these garbage cans. It turns out it's Methulsi. And Methulsi, I guess, was protecting his investment, so was following these guys. So now they're all together. They have a plan where they're going to transfer the body in Odessa during the big surf championship, because it'll be so chaotic. It'll be easy to kind of hide in the crowds. And Ruben hobbles back to the station, and Mother Russia sends him off to Odessa. This is kind of a fun backup thing. It's your pal Lenin's Soviet Guide to 1996, the year of the domino. He looks like the Monopoly guy. And it looks like Monopoly. It's called Conspiracy. And this is just some fun background in the history of the world, showing what communist Russia, what led up to the year of the domino, at least in Russia. It's like Uzbek livestock mutilations, Red Square neo-czarist executions, rampant alcoholism, Vatican buys Poland, neo-czarists blow up Kremlin. So apparently Russia was going to shit before the year of the domino. And then we see how the Plex kind of rescued Russia. Plex came in and made order again. I like this kind of like faux 50s ad. It's a wonderful life in the Plex USSR. Very like Leave It to Beaver. And here's a public service announcement about don't drink and drive with farm equipment. since it's nuclear powered, you could, you know, make a mushroom cloud. Number 7, surfing USSR. So we're introduced to these characters. Well, mainly this character, the one in the bikini. We find out she's KGB. Now, of course, the KGB isn't active, but the KGB have been trying to retake Russia back from the Plex for decades now. And, you know, they're the hardline old communists. They want to bring Russia back to, you know, the Soviet Union, how it was. So the surf competition has started. And this is a little timely reference here. I don't know if you guys remember Spuds McKenzie. He was a spokesperson for Bud Beer. I think it was Bud Beer. In this one, it's Spuzz McFarlane. And he's surfing. And Raul shows up with Jules. And he remembers how when Spuzz was on their talk show, he was humping him constantly. So he pulls out a gun and blows Spuzz away. Nobody knows Raul does it. They just think he's spontaneously combusted or something. I like how Jules says, "You're one vindictive son of a bitch." And Raul says, "What do you expect? I'm a cat." So Rueben is on duty in a helicopter. He's just, you know, it's like finding a needle in the haystack. He's trying to find the guys who stole Lenin's corpse, including his dad, in this huge, packed, you know, sporting event. I like this. Ken Bruzenek once again showing off. He does this amazing surf lettering, almost like Rick Griffin. Howard Chaykin is listed as Big Kahuna in the credits. So Eurydice is so crazy about Rueben that she hired a plane with a banner that says, "Rueben and Eurydice, always and forever." And she's a dummy, though. So she flies right in front of Rueben. So the banner gets caught in the helicopter's propeller, and Ruben's going to crash. Luckily, there's a built skyscraper right nearby. Of course, the skyscraper is owned by Rupert Kahn, and it's a hotel, and he basically makes Ruben an offer he can't refuse. He's like, "I don't like to threaten people, but you know, if you don't hook up with my daughter, things aren't going to be very good for you." He's very charming and affable. So just all the characters are coming together. Ian Cambridge meets with Thulsi. Well, he met him at the Lenin's tomb thing, of course, but they reunite. Eurydice comes in and just tackles Ruben. Starts mowing on him. And now we see our 4 criminals. They're waiting to transfer the body, just kind of arguing with each other. Stan, one of the guys, he leaves. He says that he wants to drain his pipes, you know, get a prostitute. But we'll soon find out he's not telling the truth. Because he goes down to the beach and he meets that KGB woman, the one in the bikini. He's in the KGB, too. And I guess she planted all these mines. So during the surf competition, the mines are going to go off. Like that's the next day, I guess. So they want Lenin's body, of course, because they think they're the real communists. And they deserve to have, you know, that. So at this big soiree, Eurydice Khan and the Horde are playing. Everyone's having a good time. And Ruben sees this really hot chick. And he sees her from behind. And he goes up to mac on her. And when she turns around, he's like, "What? You?" And of course, It's Desiree Deutschmarks, the new and improved Desiree Deutschmarks. She got rid of her tattoo, lost a lot of pounds, and he's just kind of mortified. He's like, oh. And then she basically says, I'm married now anyway. Have fun with your cheerleader, girlfriend. And Eurydice comes up, and finally Rueben gives in. I mean, Eurydice is really hot, so... And Ruben's a horn dog. So they end up on the beach making out. Well, doing more than making out. And then the dog collar of Spuzz McFarlane is slowly floating up in the water and hits one of the mines, which sets off all of them. Blam, 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 blam. And Eurydice and Rueben are totally oblivious to this. But this giant wave starts because of the explosions. Look how big it is. It's insane. That's them, that little speck. And even then, they still don't hear it. And they're still just fooling around. Here we got Soft Surf magazine, of course, published by the media mogul Rupert Kahn, his Red Star Publications. I like this Moondog Shivago plugs Black Sea competition. I guess in the future, surfing is not only a contact sport, but you can bring small armaments and kill the other surfers. That's just a part of the rules. I like this Badenoff vodka, and it's Eurydice Khan as the spokesperson. We have an interview with Ian Cambridge. All these celebrities promoting stuff. Jules is promoting this surfboard / armament with mounted blasters on it. And we have an ad for Four World Airways, the Brazilian conglomerate that Desiree Deutschmarks owns. And here we got the last chapter. Number 8. Another cover by Mike Varsberg, and Howard Chaykin. I forgot to mention this cover was penciled by Chaykin and inked by Mike Vosberg. Once again, you can't tell the difference, really. And I should have mentioned, too, that is some really good Rick Griffin surf logo by Ken Brzezinek. So we pick up where we left off. The giant waves coming at him. We see a helicopter. It's apparently Bess Abundanza. And she sees the guy surfing the wave. It's Ian Cambridge. She's like, do you need assistance? He's like, not a chance. This is the wave of a lifetime, and I'm riding it home. And she just says, rip it up, comrade. And Rueben and Eurydice are just running for their lives. And they totally get the wave overtakes them. Rueben makes it to the surface, and Bess lowers a little thing from the helicopter to rescue him. But then he realizes that Eurydice is down there, probably dead, and he's all feeling terrible. Oh, it's all my fault. I could have just said no. But she says, Ed, don't get your panties in a bunch, look. And he and Cambridge rescued her. He somehow still surfed the wave with carrying her 100-pound body. That's what a good surfer is. And after she rescues him, she just says, you saved my life. I'm going to make it very much worth your while. And she's totally looking at him with little hearts. And Ian is just like, oh, please, Miss Khan, come on. Excuse me a sec. Parched. So it turns out Mathulsi double crosses the criminals. He doesn't have the gold, never intended on paying them, but he takes the corpse. But he also takes Axel Flagg, because he's still got a hard-on for Rueben Flagg. He still just hates his guts. So he figures if he takes his dad, Axel, he could use that to lure Rueben into his clutches. So Rueben and Ian team up. We find out that Ian is actually a Plex internal affairs agent. And his surfing is just a cover, even though he's the best surfer in the world. And they see Mathulsi and his dad speeding by in an old Woody. So they just grab this car. They happen to grab Eurydice's car and drive off. So they're in the surf competition, as you can imagine. It's just packed. This huge event. So they can't get through the traffic. This woman in a bikini says, like, kind of flirting with them. But then it turns out it's just a ruse. She's that KGB agent. So her and Stan, one of the criminals, who was a real KGB agent secretly, they throw him out of the car and take the corpse and the car. And they drive off. Meanwhile, Eurydice and Bess Abundanza catch up with Ian and Rueben, and they jump in the back of the car. So all the characters are together. It's almost like it's a mad world. And in the meantime, Eurydice gets over Ian when he finally just says, "Miss Khan, I'm gay." And she's like, "Oh, okay, I get it." So now she's just, she sees Mathulsi in his red leather, and she's just like, who's the hot black stud in red leather? So she now has a crush on him. Love at first sight again. She's incorrigible, this one. So it becomes this big crazy chase. Ian goes off after the KGB guys, and Rueben chases his dad. But the dad escapes. And Ruben's really bummed. He's just like, oh, it's just like when I was a kid. He always escapes. And the KGB agents are being chased by Ian. He's getting closer and closer. He's just cool as a cucumber. He's just whistling a song while he chases them. And they try to beat this train. They figure if they can cross the tracks in front of the train, they'll lose Ian. But they miscalculate, and they totally get whomped by the train. And so now we, have a little flashback thanks to Fast Facts. Lenin's body, of course, was demolished into hundreds of pieces. But they did find out that there was 3 extra backup corpses under his tomb in refrigeration units. So who knows? Probably none of them are Lenin. Sergei, Hergé, and Petrov are in jail for the crime. Ian Cambridge, even though he was late, went on to return to the surf competition, win first prize. Mathulsi returns back to Africa. And Eurydice announces that her band is going to tour Pan-African Europe. And she has an afro now. So she's really smitten with Mathulsi. And we see Desiree Deutschmarks, who just bought the Trans-Avant-Garde railway system. So everyone's getting on the train. Rueben has a berth with Beth Abundanza. And they've been bickering for like 3 issues. She's been really pissed at him. But it looks like maybe she was just jealous, because she's totally into Rueben. Once again, like every fucking attractive woman in this comic, they're attracted to Rueben. And they get down. And they have of course, they have the train entering the tunnel right when they're about to show their consummation. So that's the end of that story arc. We have a little brochure here from the Trans-Avant-Garde Ultra Express. And look how big this thing is. These are all little trucks being knocked off the road. There's a horse even. They're just plowing through shit. So this is how it's like 5 stories tall. It's humongous. There's botanical gardens inside, shopping malls. It's just nuts. But these brochures are just really good satire. Like I said, these are almost like National Lampoon type stuff. We have a fake ad here with Desiree Deutschmarks. So that's it. for red highlights and permanent waves. The second to last story arc. We just have one more to go. One more episode, 9 through 12. Even though technically there is American Flagg Special, which was really just a way to introduce Times Square, the graphic novels that Howard Chaykin did in the late 80s, I think, for first comics. So it's really, I mean, that's going to be way off. I don't know. Who knows if I'm going to even be alive then. In a few years, I'll come back to those Howard Chaykin Times Square comics, since I'm sure you've had your full of Howard Chaykin at this point, for at least for a little while. But yeah, fun stuff. Hope you liked it, and I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.